We will be back in some form.
We have an army of digital soldiers because this was an insurgency.
Hundreds dead, thousands infected across multiple continents.
You guys know what this represents? Well, I don't know, maybe it's
all the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs, you are.
All right. I'll be Patriots out there kicking ass and taking names. Welcome to the party, folks, to PatriotPartyNews.com. I am your host, Chaz Carter, better known as Underground Patriot, coming to you live from the Wolf Den, folks, wearing a freaking Tennessee hat. Yes, I know all you guys from Alabama are probably about to say something. I'm going to beat you to the punch right now. My son's birthday. Cut me some slack. He's a big UT fan, so this is one of those little presents. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll wear your Tennessee hat for the show today to give you a shout out. So happy birthday. I love you, Bentley. He turns a big 14. Man, I feel like I'm getting old. Who can relate? You know what I'm saying? It seems like yesterday you're looking down. Now I'm looking up. He's 6'2" at 14, so watch out. Yes, son, help me out with the NFL contract. All right, cool. Just kidding. Well, this is where the cool cats go to get their daily intel, news, and bread. That's right, the PatriotPartyNews.com, folks. We are more than just a website. We are a full-functioning badassery Patriot Broadcasting Network, broadcasting around the world 24/7. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now with the upgrades that we have now recently done with Patriot Shoot, you might want to go check it out. All you got to do is go to join.patriotshoot.com right now for free. Oops. Yeah, you heard me, for free. You get a trial, test it out, see for yourself. This is what you need to think about, and this is what you need to do. People are like, I need instruction. Great. Go to Patriot Shoot. I need to understand what's really going on. Great. Go to Patriot Shoot. All you got to do is go to join.patriotshoot.com. You get access to your state groups. You get access to our voice chat platforms. You get access to, the QFS room, and then, of course, the humanitarian projects room. You heard me correctly as well. We are well prepared in strategy. Not to mention, if they end up taking out the internet, well, say hello to my little friend. This guy right here, just to tell you, Skycom PTT. Yes, Jennifer, I know, but I'm wearing the Tennessee hat today. So she said, it's not Bentley's birthday. I know it's really tomorrow, but I went on and did it anyway. But this joker right here is an amazing tool that combines technology and satellite technology. Let's say, for instance, boom, there is no communication. There is no cell phones. You got the towers, great. What if the towers go down? What are you going to do? See, a lot of other radio companies out there that start with RR only use cell phone towers. Why? Because I tried it out and I tested it. That's fine. But what happens when the towers are gone? That's where these jokers are going to come in handy. We've got an off-grid network that we have created with PPN. And now we're also going to be adding Charlie Ward onto the off-grid as well. And he's going to be getting his radio shortly. We just got the information on where it needs to go. So soon, Charlie's going to be on here. We're going to have several people. Obviously, several different countries are going to be on here, of course. Okay, so we're never going to be left in the dark, and we're about to have boots on the ground in all the places that truly everybody wants to know what's going on. This is what's about to get wild. So when we talk about us being the news, us getting the intel and everything, we meant it. And not to mention, nobody can mess with us completely. The internet, bye-bye. Okay, that's the Achilles heel of this world right now. Is everybody is BSing everybody. And we're all trying to do our very best to get through this crap. But you know what's really cool? If we're all in communication and there is no manipulation, and we're able to report regardless of whatever the internet is saying, that's what we're going to do. That's what we have to do. We cannot trust mainstream media. You can't trust over 75% of the internet is BS. They will censor us till the cows come home because we're not part of their party or their club. So as crazy as this might sound, we had to do this. Get the G9. This is one right here. We've got a global card put into it. Use code PPN. Okay. What that's going to do, that's going to give you access. It's free. It comes with it for free. There is no extra charges. And this is also, you get a first year with this with no charge with activation. To renew, it's $39 for the whole freaking year. No monthly. None of that stuff. Pretty awesome. I know Dallas has got his as well. If I didn't name it, it's going to be cool. So anyway, there it is. There's the website. Take full advantage of it right now and wait till we start doing all kinds of stuff globally on it where we're able to report just like that. Would you like to be a part of this? Everybody represents a state that's in here. Everyone represents a different city or territory or providence. Imagine being able to be tapped in just like that. We got it. And it works. And everybody can communicate. Again, you can go check it out. It's awesome. And yeah, Skycom, PTT.com. Use PPN for the discount code. So I want to emphasize that because today, if you, for those that are not in Patriot, shoot. We have every morning coffee with Chaz because I love coffee. And by the way, get you some Hunter's Blend coffee, 20% off as well. But we had Charlie Ward called in. And before I bring Dallas on, because Dallas probably didn't know up to this point, they actually had him on, to my understanding anyway. And it's really cool because I think it needed to happen. There's so much splintering going on within the movement. So many things are happening. And I think what we had to do was really break a lot of this down. And I want to share some of this, obviously, with Dallas, but at the same time, more events are happening left and right that we got to contend to as well. So without further ado, let me bring in the wild man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Dallas, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Man, yeah, had Charlie Ward call in today. Had a great conversation. He and I talked beforehand. The guy really, Dallas, as we've always said to everyone that watches us, we're transparent. We even behind closed doors, this is how we talk. There's no hidden agendas here outside of getting the absolute truth out. And as I was talking to Charlie, I was telling him these are my concerns. I was talking about my mom. We were exchanging stories. It's like how, and what's surprising to me? Most people outside of the continental United States obviously don't know what Trump RX is. He didn't. Okay. And I was explaining the Ozempic, I'm seeing that, and all that. He couldn't, elaborate on that, but he's going to do a deep dive on it. I told him my thoughts on it, which is no secret here. I think it's everybody's thoughts, obviously, on that. And so as he was explaining all of this, I asked him, I said, all right, we're going to kind of get to it on the show right now. I asked him about the whole nuke question. And by the way, if you want to see the full episode of what we're talking about, go to Patriot Shoot, because it goes through a lot of the details there. But he is in agreement that he feels that it's going to be Israel. Now, you ready for this? This is the kicker. This is the kicker. I said, there's going to be a big false flag event in the United States. We know it's coming. I think we all can agree with that. I mean, this is what we have heard over and over again, regurgitated. Mm-hmm. He said it could very well be a freaking nuke. I said, what do you mean in Israel shooting it off to Iran, or actually here in the continental United States? He says it could be both, and I'm thinking about that. Yeah, we've talked about it. He said they're going to be the first ones to do it. I agree with that, for the way they're getting pummeled right now, or the way it's going to be showed. Now, he went on and said, and again, I'd like Charlie to talk more about this part of it than me, but he described that there would be some type of divine intervention that would happen, and it wouldn't go off, or something like out of this world. And I said to him, what do you mean, like Project Bluebeam? And he said, possibly. He didn't say it would be that, but he just said possibly. Again, we're going to probably get a part 2 to that, because I'd like to hear, or he might even talk about it on his Insider Club. I don't know. But for the most part, it was pretty much in agreement with us in terms of you don't create idols. You don't put your faith in men. You put your faith in God. Mm-hmm. And I thought a lot of us don't even know. He says, I've put my trust into people. He said this, okay? Just like we have. And when we should just not do that, but just look at the fruit on the tree, so to speak. Mm-hmm. He brought up the point, too, about Trump. He said, you realize Trump it's going to look like he's got to lose. He has to lose his self-image, or his image, and also, I guess, more or less, his credibility is what Charlie is saying. He has to do this, and this is part of it. Now, kind of, sort of, I understand that, because supposedly it's him infiltrating this. But at the same time, as he was explaining this, I said, a lot of this makes sense. He said, you got to understand, instead of, whatever millions of people that are dying, it could be, a billion people or whatever. But he says it's never going to come to that. And he says that Netanyahu was assassinated 3.5 years ago. And what we're seeing, and I've heard that before, but I didn't hear much about it. But that's what he's saying back in 2023. I believe, or 2024, excuse me. He said 3.5 years ago. So those are kind of some of the things that were being talked about. I know you didn't know that he came on, and like we always do it on live, I just throw it out there and we start off, because we never know where this is going to actually go to. But we're not that far off. And this is what I was saying on the show. I was saying, listen, if we can all be on the same page for 80% of it, the other 20%, we don't agree. Can we just pass it off as being not necessarily petty, but being something, if we're getting the end goal, and we're never all going to agree 100%. I think we can all agree to that. No, I'm serious.
We can all agree that we're never all going to agree. Kind of like Black Panther, right? 60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
I like your comedy. But I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I'm
just giving you a hard time, man.
No. And I'm glad, because here's the thing. Otherwise, guess what? People lose their you-know-what, and we start bickering and arguing. No, man, what about see, that gets us nowhere. And that's what's happening right now because we're being bogged down with so much. Because 75% of what we're easily on the internet that we're seeing is total BS. Total BS. And I'm starting to think, we got to market every day, products and services. Ask me this question. There's other influencers out there that are in the Patriot movement. You don't see them advertising nothing. Well, then, and people could probably say, well, they're social media. Well, you're not going to make a necessarily good living unless you're doing some shock value like you're seeing on YouTube. You know what I mean? Things to that nature. So my question is, how are all these others being funded if they're not having to do what we're doing and we're telling the gosh darn truth?
Well, they're because they're being paid to deliver specific information. Sometimes
they didn't get paid either. By the way, did you hear about that? They're being sued. These lobbyists or whatever, or whoever the company is that's tied with Israel, didn't pay the influencer $7,000 a post, and now they're suing them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that was too good to be true. You know, maybe a couple of payments, right? But I mean, don't challenge me. $7,000 a post, man. I'd be making 4,000 posts a day. I'd make $1 million in 2 weeks. But I mean, I'd make as many posts as I could. But going back to what you said, I agree with everything. I think the difference is that 20% that we may disagree on. There's two ways that you can disagree. You can disagree by saying, well, you're a stupid idiot and you're full of shit and you're wrong. Or you can say, well, man, I just don't agree. Right. I mean, I used the argument that I had with my mother-in-law a couple of weeks ago about vaccines. She challenged me. I didn't start it. Right. She came at me and I just defended myself with peer-reviewed studies, articles from doctors and new information, right? And she said, quote unquote, as we got to the point where I was obviously quote unquote winning the discussion or argument, she said, well, you're never going to change my mind, period. Well, and I said, okay.
Right. And here's the thing, that's her right, just like anybody has a right.
Well, but my point is that when you just turn off to listening or hearing or researching or just contemplating another person's point of view, well, then you are blocking yourself from the potential truth, right? Am I right? I don't know. I mean, I believe I was on that one, but to say, well, you're never going to change my mind, period. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you show me. That's the difference in the two outcomes, right? We can agree to disagree. You can disagree with me all day long. Chaz, you and I, throughout our relationship, have come to points where we just disagree. I have a point of view. You have a point of view. And we may not do it in the most amicable way possible, but ultimately we just go, okay, like, hey, you do you, boo, and I'll do me, and we'll just move on. Right. And my family, for instance, not my dad. I always got to give a shout out to my dad. My dad's super cool. But my family, my mom, my sister, my aunt, they disowned me because we had a difference of opinion when it came to politics. And instead of us just coexisting as family, because I never talked politics around them, they made a choice to just cut ties. Well, that's not my fault. That's they made the choice. And now my sister's having like cut tie remorse. And I'm like, you guys are welcome to come and hang out with us anytime you want, but I'm not driving down there because I didn't make the choice, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I just I think everybody has to stay at least willing to keep your mind open to maybe new information or just an ulterior point of view. That's my 2 cents. I think it is harmful when you just say, well, I don't agree with you and you're wrong and I'm right. And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you show me. I don't care what proof, and that's the other part of the internet is for whatever you show, like I can argue both sides of almost any argument, Chaz. Mm-hmm. And I can do it pretty effectively, especially if you give me 5 minutes. to look some data up on the internet. But for whatever point you take, I can argue a counterpoint, and I can do it with stats, statistics, articles. You know, I mean, I can present proof.
Right.
I don't care what the argument is. You give me a few minutes, and if it's real challenging, you give me an hour, I can find it. And that's the problem with the internet. You know, WikiLeaks and Wikipedia specific. Wikipedia is just whatever you want to put down. You can change it. And for some reason, that's considered the gospel, right? Like, no, It's just my opinion. And now it's in there as fact, right? So the internet is tricky. Information is tricky. And the reality is I still stand on the fact that we have been lied to about everything.
We have.
For our whole lives. So the fact that anybody can take a definitive stance of you're wrong and I'm right on anything in the world is just a little bit ludicrous to me, because how do we even know what the real truth is? Because we've been lied to from the beginning. So sorry, that was kind of a circular argument, but we are where we are. So
no, 100%. And we're not all far off. Again, like that's what I'm trying to say is we get so upset, and a lot of that is, I mean, you nailed it, because we've been lied to about everything. We're tired of being lied to, and we just want to cut right to it. However, the 80% of the core, I call it the core tenets of pretty much of why anybody got involved in being in the truther movement. I mean, the number one tenet is obviously the children. Okay. So and that's going to be part of the 80%, part of, you know, the RV. We're talking about everything. We're talking about the revalue. That's part of the 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So the everything that we want to happen and to have that incredible feeling like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's peace. There's no war. Everyone is getting is taken care of. Abundance is everywhere. That's part of the 80%. Now, regardless of how it happens, how much pain we've got to go through, which, you know, I know people get hung up, and I do too. I'm big on people being straight up. I'm not big on disguises. I call that manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's something that's dear and dear to my heart.
Well, and I just, you know, there's questions about, you know, some of Charlie's information and some others. Like, and I've said it many times, when I met Charlie Ward, the word that my spirit gave me was genuine, right? Like, is everything he said true? I don't know. I don't think so, because I disagree with some of the things he says, but I believe he's a genuine person, right? Like he wants people to be healthy and safe and taken care of. But I some new Adidas.
No, that's me talking, and I'm showing my shoes.
Oh.
You know? Just saying, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's what I get at. And I know that's attraction marketing. I get it, but we've got to have more transparency. I believe, and you're 100% right in terms of, you know, being real. I mean, what if we didn't have the internet? Let's say you lived in the same neighborhood as me, Dallas. Like let's go back in time in the DeLorean back to 1985, and then let's, you know, neighborhood, know each other. You can see where we're not going to still agree on everything, but guess what? Everything is transparent because it had to be that way. There was no hiding behind a phone. There is no hiding behind a computer for the most part. I mean, because you're dealing with the government at that point with computers and stuff, but still, you know, things have changed. It's just like business. Did you hear about what AI has done now about real estate agents? The first real estate transaction was 100% done by, you guessed it, AI. We're about to have 82 million people, white collar jobs are about to be gone in the next 2 to 3 years. That's what they're all saying. Now, is that true?
Yes.
I think so.
I believe that's 100% factual. And every AI scenario that has ever been run says the same thing. They're going to take the white collar, higher level, kind of mundane jobs, real estate agents, bankers, investment brokers, specialists, attorneys, paralegals. I mean, that's all going to become AI, all of it.
Have you heard what's happened with Chat GBT with I'm trying to pull it up now because we're just getting bombarded with all kinds of stuff. This woman wrote programming for Chat GBT for the humanoid robots.
Okay.
And she had to write the code and everything to create a monster, is what she said. A Terminator is really what it is. And she quit. She resigned. They've already starting to experiment with it. Believe it or not, in the Ukraine on the front lines. This is nuts, but they've already done it. Now, how do I know that they've done it? I can't sit here and look you in the eye and tell you it's 100%, but I'm going to tell you right now, the writing's on the wall. If it hasn't happened, it's in the works, and it's going to happen. It sucked to have Terminators against humans, wouldn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the movie doesn't play out very well for us.
No, it doesn't. And I don't feel like going back in time naked either. Okay. So I'm just saying.
Not through a ball
It would be a pretty sight, it'd be a hairy ball, and that'd be about it. Sorry for the visual, but but
it's like electrolysis, man. You come out hairless, you don't have to shave anymore.
Shoot, man. I look like static control. What are you talking about? But yeah, that's some of the things that I was looking at. I was also looking at the different. What about this Joe Kent situation? What's your take on that?
My personal take is that he's now being vilified to make it not about to make his statements invalid. I think everything he said was 100% spot on, as far as being his point of view, but also being legitimate and honest and true.
Right.
I find it odd that Tulsi Gabbard, who's a part of intelligence, and Joe Kent say the exact same thing. Like, it's their job to know what's going on in Iran and around the world. And both of them say the same thing. And Trump and everyone else, they don't know what they're talking about. Well, then why did he put him in that job?
Living tours, man. I mean, you got to admit the storyline that is being presented makes you want to draw that emotion up, especially if you served, and especially the decisions and things being made right now, which leads me right into aliens. Just in, U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency quietly purchased aliens.gov, the domain name.
Quietly, huh?
Quietly.
Well, so you want to know what I was reminded of? Both in the Terminator movies and in Independence Day. You know what building is destroyed in California?
The U.S. Bank.
Yeah.
I saw that because they put the side by sides, right? Didn't they have like Independence Day? But I mean, it's symbolism, right? That symbolism will be their downfall. That's what we've always been told.
Yeah.
They got to show it to us, and
Batman. If you work in that building,
saying it. Yeah.
If you work in that building, I would quit, or I would absolutely start working from home like yesterday. I would never go in that building.
To say that's already happened, and that's an empty building, perhaps.
Well, let's hope.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever watched the movie Forrest Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay, he's also climbing on that, trying to get Jimi Hendrix's guitar off the side of it, by the way. It's an old building, believe it or not. It's not, it's been around a long, long time. But if you ever want to watch The Adventures of Forrest Fairlane, just know at the end that's the building they're on, and that's where the guitar for the left-handed wonder, Jimi Hendrix. So there you go. But yeah, so might be interesting. Is this Project Bluebeam? Same question I asked Charlie. This tells me and I didn't even know about this morning until just probably a little while ago. Okay, and this was after me find out after the conversation I had with Charlie. Bro, this tells me with the timelines and events, the nuke option is in effect, and we're not that far away from it at all. If everything is saying, I mean, and what? Okay, let's throw this out there and take some steps back. What if nothing happens and you're going to have a bunch of pissed off people and confusion will set in? But this is what I've got to pose to you. Man, what if it really does happen? Man, what if everything leading up to this, it's BS, it's a conspiracy theory. What usually happens? Doesn't it end up becoming a fact after the fact? I mean, I'm serious. Our track record is stellar. Seriously.
Yeah. Well,
outside the timelines, I will say outside the timelines, everything else, booyah, on point. How you like me now? I'm serious.
Well, that's kind of where I was going to go with the Netanyahu being assassinated 3 years ago. Well, that's fine, but how many tens of thousands of people have been killed in Iran and Israel over the last 2 weeks as they have absolutely bombed the bejesus out of each other? Like, I mean.
But let me ask you this question. What's to say that's actually now, I mean, looking at it and everything, that's why we got to have boots on the ground there. That's why we've got to actually get somebody we can trust with footage there. Now, we see it all over the place, and I do, and I've, it hurts just the same, especially when you hear about a children's school. But then I'm with you, and I said it live, and I'll stand behind that. But here's what one of my deep-rooted fears are, and here it is, that we are really being fooled, and they're that damn good, because some aspects they are. Israel, zero. They suck at their AI with the six-finger wonders, okay? I mean, but everything else looks like it's 50-50. So how, again, we can go with it's real and go down that road, but then we've got to look at it, okay, then we've got people saying it's not real. And because everybody's compromised. So what do you do in that situation? And I'm asking that legitimately. I'm not saying it because nobody here knows it all, including in the chats, including who's watching. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're 50 with gray hair in your ears coming out and you got a bound of books around you that smell like mahogany leather. Okay? No one knows it all except Jesus, period. And that's what we got. I mean, so what do? I guess you just can't worry about it and put your faith in Jesus. Is that what you do? I mean, that's what it seems like until we get some boots on the ground or somebody else that we can actually trust that's recording right.
I think we have to continue to move forward, though, right? I mean, ultimately, if you're just like, well, it is what it is and it's going to happen, and then like you just put your head in the dirt like an ostrich and you let the world go on around you, which is what we've done for the better part of the last 4 decades, right? Which is why the world is so screwed up. We sat on our hands, we covered our mouth, so we didn't want to offend anybody, right? With political correctness, political speech. Right. We don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to be offended by what we're watching, and we definitely don't want to be offended by what we're hearing, right? For me, that's not an option, right? I can't just go, well, it's and again, I'm picking on Charlie a little bit, more so for the words, because it's the words, not the message. Sometimes it's the words, right? Like, I don't like the word pantomime. I think it's disingenuous, but you can say it's just pantomime. It's already happened. And, it's just got to play itself out. But
I got to just tell you this one thing. For the first time ever this morning, I didn't hear pantomime ever brought up.
Okay, good. Because I really dislike
that was something my ears were waiting to hear, because I was like, I know, and I'm hearing, and I was waiting to hear that. It never got brought up, but at the same time, 100% what you're saying is right.
And I mean, the first thing I pointed out when you pulled up the still shots, like there's no smoke. Well, apparently the whole country is on fire, but there's no smoke anywhere. Like, that's weird, right? So yes, what sucks is I think it's both, right? I think there's missiles going off and there's missiles hitting, but I also think that it's not even a fraction of what we're being told or shown, or vice versa, right? I think there are way more soldiers, American soldiers, men and women, that have been killed. That's my personal opinion, based off of the fact that I know that the bases that they hit were not empty, right? I mean, there were American service men and women at those bases.
Right.
Now, to what extent they were hit, that's up in the air, because I've seen some videos that show them basically being leveled, and I see other videos where it's like one building, right? But I'm pretty positive there's more than 13, or I think it's up to 17 or 18 now, but it's a false flag, right? I mean, for a little bit, we believed, or at least it was kind of presented as, false flags were totally fake, right? Nobody died, nobody got injured, blah, blah, blah. And then we come to find out, okay, no, well, people did die, right? But the people they interviewed somehow were interviewed at the last false flag, shooting. You got the same person, the same man or the same woman being interviewed at 3 different school shootings. Well, how is that possible? David Hodges or Hedges or whatever that dude's name is, right? So we can't bury our head in the ground and just go, well, it's just going to fix itself, right? Because one, that's not how God works typically, right? I mean, God expects something from us. We've got to move forward. We got to take a step forward. We got to take a stance. Choose something or fall for everything, kind of thing. But I don't know what the answer is, Chaz. I mean, your question is valid. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty positive it's not do nothing.
Right, of course.
But
100%.
It's also, when we do something, what is it that we're supposed to be doing? I believe that the only thing the primary thing for us to do is stand for accountability and hold our elected officials, elected officials, accountable to serving we the people and
100%.
not serving themselves. There's a new bill that's being presented or whatever that basically says, when you're in public service, whether you're president, vice president, Senate, House or whatever, you cannot buy stocks, you cannot buy cryptocurrencies, you can't invest in any businesses. You simply are there to work for the people. I think that's a great bill. It's never going to pass, but I think it's a great bill. But we need to hold the people that are elected to serve us, we the people, we need to hold them accountable. That is what we need to do, and then let the rest work itself out, because I don't know all, I mean, the last thing I saw, Tel Aviv was on fire.
Yeah.
Like the whole city was on fire.
All of us. No, absolutely. The world, we're seeing it. I mean, it's on there. And as much as we all try to go in there, and I've used AI scanners that scans video, man, they got a way to bypass that if you ain't figured it out. I promise you that. So sometimes you're wasting your time with that, but I have to do it sometimes, or at least go in that direction, because the last thing we want is to lose credibility, because we're going to great pains, to say, hey, this is what's happening. And by the way, just to let everybody know, we're just throwing up different perspectives. Just because we're talking about this doesn't mean we've changed our stance, but we need to talk about it all in different sides. Okay. And that's usually fair for everyone, because everyone does not need to be all in on one certain thing, hook, line, and sinker. Even Charlie agreed with that. You need to be willing to look at different perspectives as well. Now, that within itself can probably be a little bit confusing, but this is what I'm saying. We're all on board for 80% of what is happening, that we need to get this taken care of. The other 20%, which is the petty stuff. When I say petty stuff, I'm not saying Epstein. That's major. That's 80%. Okay, that's children. That goes back to the children. That goes back to the victims. And that even goes back to a lot of other things. And then we got a whole tenant list of non-negotiables. And a lot of that has to deal with what? what Trump ran on during his presidency, right? I mean, that's part of it too. Because we're like, yeah,
and I think that when you have one person or one group of people or one entity that is completely removed from the ability to be questioned or to be scrutinized, I that doesn't make sense to me, right? If we have learned over the last 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years that our government and our military has routinely lied to us and abused us over and over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you have one person or one little tiny group of people that are completely infallible, and you're not allowed to question them or him or her, because if you do, then somehow you are blackpilling or you are no longer a believer, even though they have lied directly to us, not once, not twice, multiple times. But yeah, we're supposed to believe everything they say, even though we know they're lying. You know what I mean? Like that rationale right there, Chaz, is the rationale that I really struggle with, because I think it's our obligation and our duty to question virtually everything and everyone to make sure that they're staying on task, they're staying on target, and they're delivering on their original promises and messages. That is my bigger point of the whole thing. It's not that I like or dislike any one particular group or whatever, because what it isn't is Republican versus Democrat.
That's right.
That's
everybody can agree on that.
Right? That ship sailed a long time ago. It's not white versus black. It's not yellow versus brown. Like it is good versus evil. And you have to pick a side. You can't sit on the fence any longer in this war. And you can't, well, I'm gonna put my feet on this side today. Oh, that side's getting a little rough. I'm gonna put my feet over here tomorrow, right? There's no more middle road. There's no more fence. You got to pick a side, good versus evil. And that goes for everybody involved, like us, our listeners, but everybody involved, whether it be Trump and his administration or Putin or Kim Jong-un or whoever. This is good versus evil. You're either on the right side or you're not. And that's where we're coming to right now, I believe. But
so this is Kate, and I agree with everything you said, because that's just about what everybody feels like to some degree. I'd say at least 80 to 90% anyway. I think 10% have done grabbed a beer or some alcohol and went off in a corner somewhere. And they're finally coming back to make that thing. Yeah, right. Right. This is the one I was trying to find earlier that I was like, wow. So this is Caitlin Kalinowski. I'm probably butchering last name, but you'll figure it out. And she says, I resigned from OpenAI. I care deeply about the robotics program or the robotics team and the work we all built together. This wasn't an easy call. AI has an important role in national security, but surveillance of Americans without judicial oversight and lethal autonomy without human authorization are lines that deserve more deliberation than they got. This was about principle, not people. I have deep respect for Sam and the team, and I'm proud of what we built together.
Yeah, the lethal without human overwatch or oversee. That means that they were writing into the AI program the ability to kill humans without being given permission.
Correct.
Like, that is terrible.
That sounds like a bad version of RoboCop. This is the best way I know how to describe this through movies. Think about this: shoot him, put your gun out, and all of a sudden, put your gun down, and it doesn't recognize the gun's down. What are you going to do then?
Yep. Yeah.
It's you falling out a window, maybe. I don't know. Just saying.
That's crazy. But again, and
I think this is a great show and a great discussion because I know you've received a million text messages, probably just like me and probably everybody. okay, about this and about views. Hey, you need to go watch this or go that. And I'm very appreciative of the feedback, some of it anyway, until someone acts a fool and, just use kick gloves and whatever, trying to push me in a totally opposite direction without actually having a discussion. I think it's good that we do this. Most shows out there, most patriots, most influencers don't do this. Okay, it's about their sources. It's about these special, things. And folks, I got news for you. I'm sorry, until we actually can have one of our own boots on the ground, someone that we know for a fact, like maybe, someone we've met personally, we've known for a decent period of time. That's about having trust. That's the only way you're really going to get the truth in here, especially those that are not compromised and they're not getting $7,000 checks that are bouncing. You hear what I'm saying? So just saying. Yeah. Just saying. So good stuff, man. All right, brother. Put up or shut up. That's what we do, right?
All day, every day, baby. That's all we want, right? We want accountability, truth, honesty, and peace and prosperity. Like that. Those are the things that I want in this world. I want it for myself. I want it for my family. I want it for your family. I want it for Warren's. I mean, everybody a part of PPN. Everybody in the world. I want all of those things for everybody.
Would you mind ending us in a prayer? Would you be cool with that?
Sure.
Man, please.
Lord, I just thank you for this day. I truly do lift up Chaz and Jennifer and Bentley. Happy birthday, early birthday, Bentley. I lift up Warren and his family. I pray for his mom and dad because I know they're so close to him. They mean so much to him. I pray for everybody in the background, all the mods, present and past. I pray for everyone that can hear my voice, Lord, that you would touch their hearts right now and let them know that you are with them, you are real, and that you are the one and only true answer to all of this stuff, all the pain and all the suffering and all of the depression and all of the anxiety that riddles our minds, Lord. It can all be, it can only be soothed and fixed through you. Thank you for living a perfect life, for dying on the cross for our sins, but more importantly, 3 days later, rising again. And Lord, I thank you for this moment coming up in just a few weeks as we celebrate Easter that matches perfectly with the exact timing of 2,000 years ago when you were hung on that cross and you suffered and died on the cross for our sins. And then 3 days later, you rose again, as it times perfectly with this year, Lord. I pray that this would be the beginning of the transition and the transformation, and that we would move into peace, prosperity, joy, transparency, honesty, accountability, that we would move into that world and that phase. And Lord, I thank you in the name above all names, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you so much, Dallas. Be safe, brother.
See you, buddy.
Another one in the box, folks. Appreciate everyone. God bless the Republic of the United States of America, and God bless you, Patriots. Without you folks, there is no world at all, okay? We are all we got, and we're all family at some point, unless you're a bot. A bot, I'm sorry, you don't qualify as family. A troll, no, you don't qualify as family either. You know who family is when you see them, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. We might not all agree, but at the end, all we got is each other. Come on over to the Patriot Shoot. I promise you it'll be the best thing you ever did. Hi there, I'm Chaz Carter. Welcome to Patriot Shoot. If you're looking for a censorship-free platform where you can freely express your thoughts and connect with like-minded individuals, then you're in the right place. At Patriot Shoot, we offer more than just a membership. For just $8.99 per month, we provide you with daily intel, weekly giveaways, and access to our exclusive voice chat platform called Patriot Talk, where we have somewhere between 200 to 400 active members just on that alone, discussing a wide range of topics every single day. You'll gain access to our state groups where you can connect with members in your states at a grassroots level. Our community is all about open dialogue and sharing valuable information without the fear of being silenced. Whether it's discussing current events, giving advice, or personal matters, or simply connecting with others on Patriot Shoot, it is the place to be. So what are you waiting for? Join us today. Experience the freedom of speech and just fill out the form below and get started. We cannot wait to have you here with us, and welcome aboard.